I am incredibly troubled by this story, mainly because I am not a big believer in at home. It's like you're in the lab mixing and matching and adding water to your insulin. And that to me is where the school has an incredible argument here. They're not comfortable with diluted insulin. They don't know what the kid's giving himself.
Yeah, she could mix it wrong. She could contaminate it.
Exactly.
The sterility factor.
So is the school liable then? Because to me, that's a problem.
That is where I think the biggest issue in this case is a school is now becoming a medical authority and deciding whether or not the mixture is appropriate, whether it's from pharmaceutical, and it's a school. Their job is to educate the children. It's not to weigh in. And so this is where I think that, to your point, the school could be liable. So
that's why the school said, look, until we get this figured out, it's best for you to not come to school.
What if you have an 8-year-old who has a moment, right, where he's getting bullied and he gets really angry and he grabs his medical bag and starts taking his syringes out to attack another child? Like there's got to be a part where legally, when you sit at the table, a school and a family, that you come out with both sides being a little unhappy. That is law. Any given day in America, we have 30% of our kids that need medical intervention on a campus. 30% of those students. So to get into a fighting match when we have the technology where you can put a monitor on a kid and you can have an auto pump that actually delivers the insulin without even messing with needles anymore, this to me is an issue with the healthcare.
There's a part of this that just medically doesn't make sense. And so in this case, I actually find myself siding with the school because there are enough medical questions for me that I'm uncomfortable with it. And it seems to me it would be as simple as a doctor coming in to this little arbitration and saying, this is what the kid needs, this is what it's gonna be.
And this is how it's gonna be done.
And if the parent says, well, no, I don't want to, that's not what I want to use on my kid. I mean, what happens legally next? Because the school, to me, I understand, they don't want a scenario where the mom is dictating what the child gets. The doctor should be the one doing that. So what is the solution if a parent refuses to comply with, can I call it the medical standard? Because it's not the standard to be diluting stuff and just coming in
preparing your own insulin. No.
So where does this end?
I mean, I think that you're absolutely right. I think in this case specifically, the mom has a control issue over this, and there's now we're kind of invested in the battle versus looking at the best interest in the kid. And in this state, Utah is the state that this is happening in, it requires two things. It requires a parent request and a medical doctor that basically endorses it.
And that's what's missing here, the medical request.
Tough situation. I mean, the mom has her hands full. Difficult disease for an 8-year-old.
What's really interesting as you're watching this, blood sugar control for a child is so important both acutely. If their blood sugar is too low or too high, that can cause acute effects. But chronically, if you're not controlling those blood sugars now, they're at higher risk for heart disease in the future, blindness, kidney failure. And so these things really do matter. Lisa, we love your opinions on the show. We really appreciate you offering your advice.
Thank you.